we're good to go. But I think I've already went. So, I want to thank all of you for coming to say farewell to me. You're a little late, but that's it'd be nice to say it while I was still alive. Anyway, I've been planning on doing this film for several years. I'm just thankful that I've got to live long enough to do it. You know, I went to see the doctor, my heart doctor, about 3 months ago, and he said, I didn't expect to see you today. I said, you didn't expect to see me while I had an appointment? He said, well, I didn't expect to see you walking in here. I said, what did you expect? I expected that you'd either be dead or coming in on a stretcher or a wheelchair. Well, I sure didn't expect you to be walking in here smiling and talking and joking about stuff. And I said, well, I'm glad I haven't met your expectations. But, so, anyway, if you're here to hear a sermon, you're in the wrong place. If you're here to be sad, you're in the wrong place. That's not me. That's not my life. I have found humor in all aspects of life, to include death, as you can see. I said, well, doctor, it seems like it's about 10 years ago I first saw you. He said, yeah. And I said, you told me then to go home and prepare to die. He said, I remember. I said, that was 10 years ago. He said, yeah. He said, Gene, you have definitely outlived my expectations. Oh, I said, well, that doesn't make me sad. He says, I don't understand it, Gene. According to medical science, you shouldn't be here. I said, well, I got something a little higher than medical science. So, anyway, today is October the 2nd. Okay, so I made it from then till now. October the 2nd. Now, I have not practiced for this, so it's kind of like it's off the cuff. That's Gene Wagstaff. And you and I want to tell about certain aspects of my life that I thought was very funny. Not everybody thinks my jokes are funny, so bear with me. Just bear with me. Now, I want to start off. Well, I already started off, didn't I? Well, let's move further with a song. I'm going to put a song on this big screen TV over here, and it's going to have lyrics on it, and I want to sing this song, and I'd like for you to sing it with me. How often did you see a dead man clapping? Sing with me. Yeah. Just be happy. And they lay me to rest. Gonna go. That's the best. To the spirit, the sky. Yeah. It's awesome, isn't it? Be happy with me. Be happy with me. Don't be sad. Yeah. I lived a good full life. Nothing to be sad about here. having a really good full life. Have a friend in Jesus. You got a friend in Jesus? Raise your hand. Yeah, raise your hand. Sing with me. Be happy. Be happy. Yeah, it is awesome, isn't it? It's awesome. You go to the place. That's the best. This is my beloved wife who's been taking care of me all these years. And look at this little sweetie. Hey, look at this little sweetie. Okay. And thank you, Denise. She's been taking care of me. So, in the last couple of years, we've been getting all kind of spam calls. I don't know about you, but I get 20 of them a day. I didn't know how to stop it. So I started answering the phone a little bit different. I said, hello, you have reached the FBI Greenville office. Which agent would you like to speak to, please? Who do I transfer your call to? Click. Well. So anyway, you're welcome to use that. Now, my wife and I, went on a vacation. Where's that we went?
Myrtle Beach?
No, in the mountains. Branson,
Missouri.
Branson, Missouri. And on the way back, we stopped at a motel, really nice motel, had a really nice restaurant attached to it. And so, you know, guys like, I'm gonna find humor somewhere. So I walked up beside the hostess, and I looked out there, and there was about 40 or 50 people eating breakfast. And I started singing. I said, happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me. And you know what? Everybody stopped eating and started singing to me. This was a good one. And so I said, wait a minute, hold it. And they just kept looking at me. I said, it's not my birthday. I just felt like singing. So you can imagine them going home and talking about this crazy old man standing up for singing to himself. Well, I've had a lot of... I laugh more at my jokes than anybody else does. But that's okay. I got a lot of hospital things to tell you about. You know, I've been on hospice twice. I'm on hospice right now. Right now as I speak, I hope I finish this. I hope I do. If you see me go boop, you'll know what happened. Well, he didn't make it. At least the first 5 minutes was funny.
We'll get it all on video.
Okay. So anyway, I've been in a hospital a number of times, and they put me in there for a couple of days or even a couple of weeks at a time. And you got to find something funny about the hospital. The nurse came in, and she said, we're going to take a shower today. I said, we are? She said, yes. I said, have you talked to my wife about this? She said, no, I haven't. I said, okay, so let me make sure I understand this. We're going to take a shower this morning. That's what she said. I You could already know where this is going. I said, okay, who's getting naked first, you or me? And she looked at me and says, that's not exactly what I meant. I said, okay. But it was a good laugh. She laughed and I laughed. So I said to the nurse, please bring me a brand new urinal, one nobody has used before. Okay? So they did. Next morning, I took some orange juice and I poured it into it. And I waited for the nurse to come in, and I grabbed that urinal and I started drinking my orange juice. And you know what she thought it was. She said, no. She come over and grabbed it away from me. I said, you want some? She said, no. Gene, let me go get the doctor. Or the psychiatrist. So, now, Denise and I, since we first met, we have spoke gibberish. You know what gibberish is? And she'll answer me, and I'll go, and she'll go, and that's fun in a restaurant, and people looking at you, they actually know what they're speaking. Well, we were downtown, and there was a guy downtown a couple years ago, and he's holding this pole, like he's Moses, and he's got no shirt on. And he's standing there talking gibberish. And I went up to him. I said, Denise, watch this. And I started speaking gibberish to him. And he wasn't sure what to do. So he speak. I went, and he go, so anyway, that was fun. Denise and I, we went to get our marriage license. Pardon me, my nose runs a lot now. I've been doing that since I had my stroke. For those of you that don't know, I've had several strokes. My first one was over 4 years ago, and it totally paralyzed my left side. That was almost the end of me. I didn't know how to walk. I couldn't use my left leg. I couldn't use this arm. But anyway, I eventually went through rehab and recovered from most of that. But we went to get our marriage license. And like they always do, they want to verify who you are. So they asked me for my name. And I told them. And then he said, my name is Denise Bird. And I looked over at her. I said, your name is Denise Bird? And she said, yes. I said, wait a minute. I brought the wrong one. I got drunk last night. This is not the right one. Let me go see if the other one might be in the car in the back seat or something.
She went through with it.
That woman looked up at me like, well, what kind of nut are you? So, yeah, a couple of days before that, we went to get outfitted for my suit. And this woman said, what's your fiance's favorite color? I said, I don't know. I can hardly remember her name. She said, what? I said, I met her 2 nights ago online. She's from Russia, I think. And we got along really, really good. So I flew her over. I said, Natasha, what's your favorite color? And obviously Denise is not answering to Natasha. I said, never mind. We don't know each other well enough. She said, you met her online and you flew her over? I said, well, yeah. I said, so far it's worked out for 2 nights. Now, I don't know any of you if you've ever been magnet fishing before. Now, I have owned a big boat most of my life. 33 foot or just a little bit smaller. It's classified as a yacht. I just don't tell people I own a yacht. I tell them I got a Captain Cruiser. Yeah, people look at you funny when you say you got a yacht. So anyway, Jimmy, a guy lives on our property. I said, let's go magnet fishing. He said, okay. Now Jimmy it was hot. He had an old shirt on. Then he had an old shirt on in front of it, on top of that, and both of them had holes in it. And we're out there. We look like two homeless guys. I mean, we really look like two homeless guys. Got holes in our shirts, and we're looks like we're trying to get some change out of the water. And this couple walks down to say hello. I said, hey. I said, we're magnet fishing. They said, we can see that. I said, well, it's a pastime. My boat is in the shop. They go, I said, really, it's classified as a yacht, but it's not. And they go, This homeless guy trying to convince us we got a yacht. And we throw the magnet back down again. And when you get the yacht back? And Jimmy looked at me and I looked at him and said, I don't know. They said, well, it was nice talking to you. I guess it was a little paranoid of us. So we got ready to leave. So we were walking back up to the top where the parking lot's at. And I've got this dually sitting up there. Beautiful looking truck, all modern. And Jimmy said, you gotta drive your truck down there. They gotta see that we're not homeless. They gotta see that we're not homeless. I said, okay, Jimmy. So we drove it down there and said goodbye. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to Biltmore before or not, but they got a place there. There's thousands of chickens in it, in a fenced-in place. I said, let's go see the chickens. And you get some chicken feed and you throw in there, and they, hello, hello, hello. It sounds like they're saying hello. I said, listen to that, Denise. It sounds like they're talking, saying hello. She said, it sure does. I said, aha. Let's have some fun with this. So every time we get around a group of people, I would say to Denise, I said, you know, the best part of this so far? She said, what? I said, the talking chicken show. I said, I'm glad the guy at the ticket booth told us about it. And the people are going, the talking chicken show. That sounds interesting. And they go off towards the information booth. But all I got was hello. Now, I'm going to get a little spiritual. I'm going to talk about the Garden of Eden. Now, you know, God was there and He's handing out curses because of what happened. And He said to the woman, from now on, you're going to have painful childbirth. She goes, oh, okay. And He says to the man, you're going to have to work in the soil hard to have any fruit. Okay. Then He looked at the little dog. He said, dog, he said, I'm really the most angry at you. You didn't do your job. You didn't bark and spike that devil and scare him off. So you're going to get one of the worst curses. And the dog looks up and God says, from now on, you and all your generations are going to have this irresistible urge that every time you see another dog to go sniff its butt. That little dog went, and Adam took his hat off, wiped his brow, looked at Eve. He says, I'm sure glad the dog got that one and not us. And Eve went, oh. I'm sure glad the dog got that one and not us. Now, Jimmy Buffett, he's got this song about cheeseburger in paradise, right? You ever heard it? So, a couple of weeks ago, my beautiful wife said to me, what's the first thing you're going to say to Jesus when you see him? I said, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to thank him. She says, what? I'm going to say, Jesus, thank you for giving that butt-sniffing curse to the dog and not to the man. Wouldn't that be terrible, everybody? Every time you saw somebody, you had to go sniff? She said, what's the second thing you're going to say? I said, well, Jesus, Jimmy Buffett talks about these wonderful cheeseburgers in paradise. I'd like to try one of them out before you show me around. Well, let's get more spiritual. Let's get more spiritual. Now, Jesus walked on water. Denise and I were down at the beach, I don't know, 6 months ago. I wanted to see how spiritual I was. This wave come in and it tapped my foot. So I took my cane and I drew a line there. I said, I take authority over this wave. Not the whole ocean, not the whole ocean. I don't want to press my luck here. Just this one wave. You will obey me in Jesus' name, and you will not come any further than that line. And I kept standing there, and you know what? It didn't. So I stepped in a little closer, and I drew another line. Don't come in past that line. You know what? It didn't. And I'm going, oh, baby. Am I feeling spiritual? Until the guy next to me says, I've been watching you. I said, yeah. He says, do you realize the tide's going out? No, and I wish you hadn't told me. You done ruined it. Well, if Jesus could walk on water, shouldn't we be able to? Well, should be able to and able to is two different things. So I was feeling real spiritual one day. So I stepped off of the boat and I said, water, I command you to let me to walk on you. The water was deaf that day. It didn't hear me. So anyway, I stepped off the boat. Bloop, 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 bloop. Down I went. I got back on the boat. I said, okay, let me try this in a little water that's a little bit more shallow. Anyway. So much for my spiritual water experiences. They didn't work out well. You're welcome to try them if you want. Somebody told me the reason Jesus could walk on the water because it was so salty. I said, really? So I went and got a whole box of Morton salt, put it on the water, and took a step. And you know what happened. I don't know how Jesus did it. But he said, greater things than these you shall do. Well, I couldn't even do what he did. So anyway, I lost a little faith on that one. Now, in ancient times, when a man wanted to marry a woman, he took a gift to the prospective father-in-law. What do you call that?
Dowry.
A dowry. He took a dowry to the father-in-law. And the more beautiful this woman is, the bigger the dowry would be. It would go anywhere from a single chicken to 100 horses, depending how beautiful she was, how smart, and how bad he wanted her. So this man took the dowry to the father-in-law, and the father-in-law put the daughter's hand in his hand. Well, 3 days later, the man brought the woman back and put her hand in her father's hand and says, I want my chicken back. I want my chicken back. Well, apparently it didn't work out real well. She's a one chicken woman. So I counsel a lot of couples, and I tell don't let your husband treat you like a one chicken woman. So anyway, maybe it was more funny to me than it was you. I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. Now, come on, laugh with me. So, in February, you haven't noticed because you haven't seen me, but I have a real trouble standing without a cane. I've lost my balance. So, Denise and I went to this dance at a church, at a dinner and a dance. And so, after the dinner, I said, let's dance. She said, okay. I put my cane to the side, music came on, and we're out there, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and I'm doing this, and this woman comes up to video us. And so after the dance, I said, why'd you video us? She says, I've never seen anybody with dance steps like that. I said, you don't realize, I just try not to fall down. So, anyway, we'll get back to seriousness. This ministry was built on basically one verse. Forgive everyone for everything right away, every day. If you don't do that, your life's not going to be good. So, I want to part with those words. One more song. Sing with me. Betrayal to you till we meet again. A betrayal to you, keep smiling until then.
Who cares about the clouds that we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails
to you and we meet. And we will! And we will! Hallelujah! Make your trails happy. Find humor and everything.
It's the way you ride the trail that counts. Here's a happy one for you.
Happy trails! Till we meet again. Fair. Keep smiling until then.
Who cares about the clouds that we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
Now, I've got a lot of spiritual brothers and sons and daughters out there. I mean, I've had a lot of spiritual sons and daughters who have loved me. If you're one of my spiritual sons and daughters and you're here, would you raise your hand? If you're glad that you're not one of my spiritual sons and daughters, don't raise your hand. Denise, come up here.
Don't bring her.
Now, Denise and I, we got married going on 5 years ago. Now, when we got married, this is not what she signed up for. I mean, she was envisioning me retiring soon and us traveling and having a good life. 2 years after we got married, I had my first stroke and everything went down after that. And so, I want to thank you for taking such good care of me. You have taken really good care of me. Now we've had little bouts here and there, but that's mainly because of me. And you've done a good job too. Okay, thank you. Now, Jimmy Guzzi, I bet you're here. That's one of my spiritual sons. Thank you for doing what I couldn't do anymore for the last few years. I've lost all my strength. He's been my hands. He's been my arms. Doing what I can't do. And I thank you for that, Jimmy. And my best friend in the world, Paul Fryer. Thank you for being more than a friend. Brother. JD. Thank you for being in there. Brian Edwards, thank you. I can't think of their name.
Ricky.
Who?
Pastor Ricky.
Oh, Pastor Ricky. Yeah, he's supposed to be doing the funeral today. If you come to get sad, listen to him. And I've invited him to speak and Paul Fryer to speak. I think they'll say good things. For those of you who don't have good things to say, you're welcome to keep your seat. Let's see, who else did I want? Brian Edwards. Come on, Brian, you're welcome to come up and talk.
Jackie.
Huh?
Jackie.
Jackie, if she's here. But thank you. Now, you know, one thing I've always complained about is people die and then their kids inherit their stuff. Well, you know what? I told my daughter years ago, you go get my boat, you go get my truck. They live in Florida. I want to see them enjoy it before I die. And so they came up a couple weeks ago and got it. And man, they are the perfect people for that yacht. Just don't dress like homeless people when you're on it.
Did it come with a magnet?
That's a good question. Did it come with a magnet? So anyway, I got one last little video I want you to see.
The video, that's all, folks.
What? That's it. Show's over. Hope you got your money's worth. That's all, folks. We're done. That's a perfect ending. Betrayal to you till we meet again. A betrayal to Smile until then.
Who cares about the clouds that we're together?
Just sing a song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails
To you and to me. And we will. And we will. Hallelujah.